So you've realized that you need a counselor, but you've never needed a counselor before, and you have no idea how to find a good one. Hi, my name is Kay. I'm a counselor. Let me tell you how I'd find a counselor for myself. The very first thing you need to know is that choosing a counselor is a very personal process. It's a very personal choice, and essentially you need to do a little bit of shopping. I know that's a bad thing to hear because when you need therapy, the last thing you want to do is shop around, but it's kind of like picking out a pair of blue jeans. They all kind of look the same on the rack. You've been in the store, you know this is true, but if you take them back into the dressing room and try them on, some of them fit better than others. And rather than just buy the first pair you come across, you really do have to try them on. So in order to streamline that trying them on process as much as possible with a counselor, let me give you 3 questions that you can ask. And the very first question to ask is, do I feel safe and respected with this person? When you talk to the person on the phone, when you visit them in their office, do you feel safe and respected? Because research shows that therapy is much more likely to be successful when there's a good therapeutic relationship. And that is true regardless of the counseling theory that the counselor uses. And a good therapeutic relationship simply means that you feel safe, respected, and heard. You and your counselor can have difficult conversations. You feel safe to say whatever needs to be said, and you feel satisfied with the outcome of those conversations. But a good therapeutic relationship is not a friendship. And while your counselor might tell you a little bit about herself at times, the counseling sessions should be about you. Your story, your processing, and your way forward. You should never ever feel burdened by your counselor's emotions or experiences. And if that's happening, let your counselor know what's happening and talk it through to your satisfaction. One last thing to tell you about feeling safe and respected is that you are under no obligation whatsoever to the counselor. Counseling is for you. If you can always leave for any reason whatsoever. Second question to ask is this: what kind of license does this counselor have? There is a hierarchy in the counseling world. Let me tell you about that. The person at the top of the food chain in the counseling world is a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is going to be called Dr. So-and-so, and that means that she is a medical doctor who has specialized in psychiatry. Years ago, psychiatrists did therapy, but now they write prescriptions. And while many of us need prescriptions, it's important to understand that a psychiatrist doesn't do counseling. The next person down on the food chain is a psychologist, confusingly also called Dr. So-and-so. But he has letters PhD after his name, and that means he has an advanced academic doctoral degree in some field of psychology. It's not a medical degree, but he's a specialist in a particular area of treatment or testing. This person is a counselor, PhD part. They're at the top of the food chain, and you'll probably pay a little more to see this person unless you happen to have really, really awesome insurance. The bulk of the counseling in the counseling world gets done at this next level, called licensed counselors. Licensed counselors have master's degrees in counseling, psychology, social work, marriage and family therapy. Then they go through a state-certified licensing procedure in order to be called a licensed professional counselor, a licensed clinical social worker, a licensed marriage and family therapist. Different states have different letters, and you can ask your counselor what those letters mean. And then there are a whole group of other people that call themselves counselors, and you may get really good help at this level, but you just need to understand what that person's training means. You might hear words like pastoral counselor, biblical counselor, lay counselor, life coach. Check with the person that you're talking to on the phone or in person and ask them what their particular counseling license means so that you get the product that you're actually paying for. All right, question number 3. Where do I even look for a counselor? Now, you might get really, really lucky and find someone online. There are good directories online. The American Association of Christian Counselors has a great directory, and Psychology Today also has a good directory. Another source is to ask family and friends for a recommendation, but just remember, you are shopping, and just because somebody was a good fit for your cousin or your best friend doesn't mean that they're going to be a good fit for you. Ultimately, you are the person who needs to make the choice, and you need to trust yourself that you know what kind of counselor is going to be the best person for you. So do you feel safe and respected? Do you feel like this is a person that you want to talk to, and you understand what their degree is? Then you'll know this is a person that's going to be a good counselor for me. Well, trust yourself. I hope that helps.